our passports since we went to the old man. Lord.
Hello, my name's Anne Bryson.
And I'm Maria McCurley.
Tonight on 6:30-something, we ask Amanda de Cadenet the type of question she asks herself.
Polo, you've worn the shirt, now play the game.
And we'll be taking a long look at Whitney Houston's wardrobe.
First, Dave Stewart, who used to be one half of the Eurythmics. Before that, he was in a band called the Tourists.
Isn't that an extraordinary coincidence? Dave is, of course, married to ex-Bananarama-ette Siobhan Fahey, and he currently has a new band, a new album, some newish sunglasses, and a funny sort of beard that some people say makes him look like the corpse of Fu Manchu. But we wouldn't say anything like that, because we're nice.
Brenda Imanis was flown out to Biarritz to interview Dave in his luxury hotel. Don't believe it, and we go into summer. Biarritz, Brenda.
Biarritz, on the French Atlantic coast, used to be the fashionable retreat for the British aristocracy. Dave Stewart, who I found at the luxurious Hotel du Palais, seems to be carrying on the tradition. Or he may just be hiding out from his keen as the French on his new band, the Spiritual Cowboys.
I just decided to play France a lot. So I played about 30 concerts, so, you know, the album went double gold here, whereas I only went and played like 3 gigs at the Marquee in London and disappeared, you know. I stayed away from England for a while.
And when you started Spiritual Cowboys, did you have a clear idea of what kind of band you wanted it to be?
Yeah, I just wanted to be a band of friends who played for the love of music, really. It wasn't meant to be a posy band or a star-studded band or anything. And it's turned out to be just like that, you know, a bunch of friends.
Jerry got ready with the boots and furs. Jerry got ready with the boots and furs. Put a wig on her head and stumbled down.
The Spiritual Cowboys are about back-to-basics rock and roll. Quite a contrast from the high polish of his long-term partnership with Annie Lennox, the Eurythmics, who have clocked up 9 smash hit albums in the last 10 years.
I think, you know, bands after a certain amount of time kind of do nearly everything that you can do, you know, to do with concert-wise and recordings, and it's, you know, time to have a break. You know, whether it's permanent, I don't know, but, you know, you can get very stale and start to be almost like an imitation of yourself. You know, it feels sort of cabaret towards the end.
Out of reach, out of touch.
And the Spiritual Cowboys certainly bring Dave closer to his musical roots. He began playing the pubs of his hometown, Sunderland.
Can you remember your first gig, what you went to?
I remember my first gig very well. I was about 14. I was playing in a pub, and it was the audience of one. Just one guy was sitting there drinking a pint of beer. And I was singing sort of about 7 Bob Dylan songs. And about the 6th, I had my eyes closed and I was singing away, and he sort of like, I'm sorry, I've got to go and get my bus.
Dave's life is now built around his marriage to Siobhan Fahey, who's replaced Annie Lennox as the main influence on his life. And it's a musical partnership too. Dave's had a hand in Siobhan's post-Banana venture, Shakespeare's Sister.
Now I know I don't need you, dear. So wave your hand like a magic man, disappear.
You know, we both are mad about music, and that's all we sort of do most of the time. And all of our friends tend to be connected with that kind of thing, so I don't know, I can't really compare it with other relationships.
Did you fancy her when you first saw her, or did she grow on you?
Oh yeah, I always remember meeting her about 7 years ago, I think it was. And I knew at the time that we'd end up together.
The rich aristocrats who used to holiday here didn't have to sing for their supper. Dave doesn't exactly need to either. He just enjoys it. And so did the French audience.
Go!
Me? I thought he was better in the dressing room after the gig.
To Hollywood.
Bit expensive, isn't it?
For this week's movies. Oscar is the new one from Sylvester Stallone, and guess what?
What?
It's a comedy.
No.
It's directed by John